right, welcome into another edition of Catching Up with Tommy Mac podcast here on 1010XL's podcast platform, 1010XL.com, the 1010XL app, live on Facebook, live on Twitter. We're also on the Jaguars 1010XL YouTube, 1010XL Jaguars YouTube channel. As well, of course, my show brought to you by Team Tommy Mac. You'll see the flyer up during the show. They are absolutely fantastic. 9 businesses that I personally endorse, and I'll tell you what, man, they do it right every single time. You see Carpet Man Flooring on my chest. Been friends with Chris Jackson a very long time. Does a great job. Highest quality flooring at the lowest prices. 2 great locations here in Jackson. We'll talk about the rest of the team later. You can always catch them at TommyMac.net. All right, lots to get into in a little bit of period of time. NFLPA report cards are out. They're not supposed to be leaked. Of course, they got leaked. I'll tell you where the Jags are at, and we'll talk about that briefly. We'll take a look around the National Football League, some tags being done, some tenders being done, and even here at home with maybe a contract extension with Trayvon Walker. We'll talk about the NFL Combine, more specifically looking at the interior defensive linemen and how they performed yesterday at the Combine. That's one of our top needs going into 2026. And if we can get to it, we'll get to politics and sports. Like, when do we get rid of politics and sports? I don't think you'll totally get rid of it, but I think we should consider it very heavily. The reason being, I interviewed Jack O'Callahan yesterday on the Horse's Mouth. Jack, of course, part of the 1980s men's USA hockey team, the Miracle team. And I'll tell you all about that conversation and whatnot. Of course, a lot of political things going on with our men's and women's hockey team. Let me just say this. I'm very proud to be an American. I'm very proud for our men's and women's hockey team. Equal to me, man. I think it's absolutely fantastic winning those gold medals. All right, the NFLPA report cards came out. Look, they asked the players to fill these things out anonymously. How do you like the head coach? How do you like your position coach? How do you like the coordinators? How do you like the facilities, the food, game day for your family, which, whatever, we'll talk about it. The facilities, the weight room, the training room. Just getting off Jaguars today. We went through it back when I was playing. Let me tell you something. The Miller Electric Center is way, way better than what we had. Way, way better. But I gave us all A's. It was great. I mean, I had enough food. I liked my coaches. I didn't love them all, but I liked them. Of course, Coach Coughlin got an A because he was always doing it straight and, honestly and consistently, even though he was tough. The food was great. I ate plenty. They were nice to my parents and my friends and my relatives, when called upon. So, I don't know. I don't know what you need today. Look, as far as, I've read where, the family facilities during game day. I don't know. Like, okay, where do I change my baby? Why bring the baby to the game? I don't know. Or maybe you can't get a babysitter. I think you can afford one. Maybe you don't have a family member that's living with you or nearby, or maybe you can't get a nanny. I don't know. I just feel like, what if your kid's a toddler and they're running around, they can't keep still, or sit still to watch the game? Does the team have to provide those kids an area to run around? I don't know. I think a little bit. And today the money's incredible. Like, what more do you need? I don't know. Nutrition. Okay, I'll listen to the nutritionist. Big deal. Weight room. The weight room's phenomenal. It is absolutely incredible. Liam Cohen got an A-. Why didn't he get an A+? What's he missing? Heath Farwell got an A+. I get it. They love him. I'd like him too. He's a great coach, and they do great on special teams. And you can tell special teams is a big part of the team. They're one of the 3. They're not that, the stepchild per se. The redheaded stepchild. I feel bad for the redheads when I say that. But I don't know. Look, you get paid a ridiculous amount of money. It's a job of a lifetime. It's glorious when you win. Yeah, I mean, if your showers didn't produce hot water, yeah, I'd complain about that. The locker room. If you've been in their locker room, how do they don't get an A plus on that? That thing's like a I don't know, like penthouse, of a hotel. It's unbelievable. I got dressed in my locker. I don't need to sleep in my locker. I don't need a recliner in my locker. I don't know. Give me a fresh razor if I feel like shaving. You know what I'm saying? I think today the more you get, the more you want. But to me, like, I don't know. That wouldn't factor in even if I was that, superstar first round pick or whatnot. I don't think my I don't know. I'd have to ask my teammates, how they felt about it. I'm sure not all of them gave Coughlin an A. They didn't like his rules. I just knew how to beat the rules. I did. Uh, you know, don't wear white socks while you're traveling. Okay, so I wear black socks or blue or gray. I don't know. You know, uh, tighten your button and get the tie up. Well, I had a 22-inch neck. I could never tie my button, but I'd cinch the tie up, and I went past him while he's sitting in front row, and I'm going to the back. I unloosened my tie. He never came back. It was no big deal. Cinch it back up when had to go buy him again. That kind of stuff. But I know it did bother some guys. It didn't bother me. I could care less. And again, maybe I'm a different story because it took me a while to get there, and I was just grateful for everything, especially just the glorious side of it and being a part of a great franchise and a great team. Um, I don't know. I mean, look, you look at the salary cap; it's 5 times greater than it was back in the '90s. So these guys are making hand over fist, and they should be. I'm not complaining. My pension goes up when they make more money. Um, but what do you need to be successful? And now here's another thing: like you went from 4 wins to 13. Of course, you give Doug Peterson a C last year, and you give Liam an A minus, rightfully so, on both sides. You stunk last year. How are you going to give the coach a good grade? How are you going to give anything a good grade? And then grading your position coaches. Like that's so subjective. Maybe you don't like him. Maybe you don't like you. Maybe he doesn't play you enough, and you got your panties in a wad about it. I don't know. You give him a bad grade. I was just talking on Jaguars today. Like Steve Zabo ended up being one of my really good friends. He was my college coach. He was my linebacker coach with the Jags. He's coordinator and inside backers coach with the BC Eagles. We got into it a couple times, but we respected each other. And he came to my wedding. I love the guy. Like I'd give him an A grade all day long. I'd give Dick Duran an A grade. I give Dom Capers an A grade. I give John Pease an A grade. Leroy Selman, all the defensive coaches. I loved them all. I thought they were great. So I don't know. I don't. And it doesn't. It's not a generational thing. I just think, look, maybe the more you get, the more you expect. You know, I wouldn't. I don't know what I'd do for the families. I'd be like, look, man, what do you want me to do? Like, I'd give you a nice room and it's got a bathroom in it. You can change with a changing table. You know, I mean, you're not like you're not Taylor Swift coming in for a concert and asking for all this stuff for her, her room in the back, her dressing room. You're not that. You shouldn't be that. I mean, you're an important part of the player's life, of course, but I don't know. I think that one's a little bit too extreme in my book. But nonetheless, you need the bougie, scene. I guess so. Some people do. That would factor zero into my decision making. Of course, I want my wife taken care of, but guess who's going to take care of her? Me. I got the money. You want a suite? I'll get you a suite. You want to see? Look, you look at Marissa Lawrence. She sits in the terrace suites. We see her and her family. Trevor's dad. They're all there. Mom. They're all there. They're great. They just hang out. I don't think they're complaining about anything. You know, I don't know. And again, these anonymous grades, so weak. You know what I mean? Like again, I don't know. Whatever. The Jags went from 18th to 5th. So congratulations. Way to go. Way to go, Jaguar organization. I do know this. The owner got an A grade, was a B plus last year. I don't know what changed, but to me, he's a great owner. I think he's turned into a great owner, especially, once the football ops came together for him. But nonetheless, I think it's a little ridiculous, these grades. And at the end of the day, man, just go play football. Get your body ready. They got enough food for you. They got a great weight room, great training room, got all the pools, got all the massage, the chiropractor. You get everything. And it comes to your door. You don't have to wait in line. You don't even have to get like a a doctor's appointment. You just go through the team. At least that's how we would. And then, hey, my kid's sick, or my wife's sick, or my girlfriend's sick. You help her out. Yeah, I got her appointment. Don't worry about it. I mean, that's the way it was. But nonetheless, your Jags number 5th ranked in the National Football League. So fantastic. Let's see if you keep winning. I would imagine the grades stay. If you lose, I'm imagining the grades change. I don't know. We'll have to see. Hopefully they keep winning. All right, big news this week about 2 home games in London, only 6 home games in Duval County at the bank. Yeah, it sucks, but you got to sacrifice a little bit. You didn't want the team. The poll got sent out there. The question, do you want them gone for 2 years? You want them here for a year or limited capacity? We voted for the limited capacity. You had 42,000. Look, first of all, I think every one of those tickets should go to the diehards, the ones that always go. Season ticket holders, maybe every year they grab packages, whoever those are, they should get those tickets. And guess what, Jag fans and in the organization, there should be no opposing fans in our stadium. And if there are, it should be minimal, maybe like 1,000. The rest should be all Jaguar fans. So hopefully we can control that. We probably can't. It's going to look real embarrassing when a team outshines us in the fan department. But granted, if we're winning, that won't happen. If we're not winning, it may happen. It's still going to be embarrassing. All I know is this. Look, I played in front of 40,000, 35, 40,000 at Boston College. There's no home field advantage. So, now granted, you don't have to travel, maybe sleep at your home. Maybe it's a little bit easier, but at the end of the day, that's not going to make a difference. It'll be loud, and I love you fans. I do. You'll do your best, but it's 42,000. It's a small crowd, a smaller crowd. Be great for baseball. You're in a baseball arena or baseball stadium. Yeah, it'd be phenomenal. But we're not. So look again, and what's the finish? The finish is the stadium of the future. It's going to look unbelievable. It's going to be unbelievable. Downtown's going to change forever. So you got to sacrifice. Look, I'll be honest. I like watching from my home. I like watching with my pad, like writing down the plays. I like looking at it. If I go to the game, which we do, we don't go to a lot of them, but when we do, we enjoy ourselves. It's great. The environment's great. When they're winning, it's great. But then I got to get up and then I got to watch it later, which I don't watch it later because I'm watching other football. Or I got to watch it in the morning to get ready for the podcast and the week of shows. So I'd rather sit at home. I doubt I'm going to Orlando. I doubt it. I don't know. Just win, baby. I don't care where you play. Play in $10 freaking 2 for all I care. Just win. And I don't want to hear any excuses why you don't win, and we shouldn't, because that's not the regime. But I get you fans being upset, and I feel for you. But again, the carrot in front of the rabbit is that stadium in 2028. Hopefully that stays on time. It looks like it's on time now, about 15% done. It's going to be a beautiful thing. It is, with the 4 seasons and everything else. It's going to be absolutely incredible. So we're just going to have to tough it out for a couple years and wait for the brand new stadium. Hopefully they win. Winning will change. Winning will make everything better, right? So if they win, great. If they lose, people are going to start complaining about things. That's the way it goes down. All right, the NFL Combine moving forward. Yesterday, we saw the interior D-line go, the edges go, the off-ball backers go. Of course, those Ohio State backers lit it up, especially Sonny Styles. We'll never have a shot at him, but I only want to say his stats because they're unbelievable. A 4.46 40, which, look, granted, I'd love to run that. A 40 is more technique than anything. It's just not some guys are natural, don't get me wrong, but a lot of it's technique. Staying low, staying in the straight line, not getting off that plane. So that is impressive, though, at his size. What's really impressive is a broad jump of 11 feet, 2 inches. That's incredible. And then on top of that, a vertical of 43.5 inches. That's skying. That means that is some explosive lower body behavior. Arvell Reese did another good job. Jacob Rodriguez ran in the 4.6 range, 4.58. Move fluid. Caleb Alarms or another 4.47 guy. So, the 40 is one thing. In space is another, right? Just because you can run a fast 40 doesn't mean you're a great linebacker. Doesn't even mean you can cover well. It just means you're fast and you got makeup speed. And if you hustle, you'll get there eventually because you have that speed. But it doesn't replace instinct. It doesn't replace technique. But granted, you want to be as fast as possible. There's no doubt about that. Speed does kill as long as that speed knows how to play football. Then it does work great together. I looked at the interior defensive linemen ranked by the Draft Network, 1 through what do I got? 1 through 9. Of course, some of these guys we will not get. The Peter Woods of the world out of Clemson. He didn't run. He'll run at Clemson Day. Let's see, my IDL number 2, Caleb Banks, ran a good 40, but they said lacks a little explosiveness in his change of direction and coming out of his break. Shows up on the screen. We're not going to get him either. Number 3 is Caden McDonald out of Ohio State. Big dude did not run, chose not to work out. IDL 4 is Lee Hunter. This guy is impressive. I doubt we'll get him either. I doubt we'll get him at 56, but getting closer. 6'4", 325 out of Texas Tech and a 5'1/5'2" 40. That's moving for a big, big man. IDL number 5, where you at? Oh, yeah, Rayshawn Benny out of Michigan. Maybe could be there. He's ranked pretty high. Chris McClellan out of Missouri, number 6. He ran a 5 flat, basically. So again, we're looking for a penetrating 3 technique, not a nose tackle. Not enough. If he can play both, great. That's fantastic. Christian Miller out of Georgia. He's number 7 in the defensive line. He moved really well yesterday. DeMonte Capehart ran a 4.85. He's out of Clemson. He's IDL number 8. Interior defensive lineman, that is. Let's see if I even got number 9. I don't. I think it went up to 8. Oh, I'm sorry. Tim Keenan, the 3rd out of Bama. He ran a 5.3. That's unless he's a nose and doesn't have to move at all, but that's pretty slow. I'd be a little cautious of that. But yeah, look, these times do matter. I still think it's fascinating that the Rams use GPS tracking to determine speed, athleticism from game tape, from practices, maybe Senior Bowl, what have you. You know, today they do all that stuff. So again, you got to take. I would look like we were saying on Helmets and Heels yesterday with Lauren Brooks and Taylor Dahl. That 3-cone drill is one to look at. The 20-yard shuttle, because you got to change direction. Although there's a little technique to that. If you time the turnaround pretty good, like you jump and turn, you know, you got to get over the line, but you can basically be going back the other way pretty quick. Moving in space is huge in my book. You know, how you change direction. Are you fluid? I think those are all very, very important things when it comes to defensive linemen. Pretty much everybody, but offensive linemen, how they move in short spaces. And of course, my linebackers and safeties and DBs, they gotta make sure that they can get it. David Bailey was unbelievable. LT Overton from Bama was very good. Keldrick Falk, another defensive end. Don't know if we'll get those guys, but those guys stood out. Oh, Zane Durant from Penn State. He was not ranked by Draft Network, but he's going to run up and he's going to get up fast. He ran a 4.7. I think he's like 305, 300. Hey, listen, man, I don't care how big he is. I care how fast, explosive, quick, and penetrating he is. And maybe Zane Durant, maybe doubt he'll be there because he really tested pretty well at number 56. A little look around the National Football League. George Pickens going to get tagged, no surprise. Jaquan Millen, you saw him for the Denver Broncos, a defensive back, made a lot of plays. They put a second-round tender on him. He's an exclusive right, so that tells you they think high of him. They're saying if you come to him, you're going to give us a second-rounder valued at $5.8 million. So you're going to pay and you're going to give up the draft pick. Great way to protect one of your young guys. Trayvon Walker, there's talks about those extension talks beginning. Good. I don't see them happening right away. Where do you put him is interesting. If I'm him, I want to play a little bit show that I'm healthy, show what I can do, get off to a really fast start, and then maybe we can talk. I don't know if the leverage is as strong as it would be if that was the case. If it was, if they did it today. So I don't see them doing it today. But look, I wouldn't pay him the upper echelon, but he's going to make a ton of money. There's no doubt about that. The Indianapolis Colts have given Anthony Richardson an opportunity to find a trade partner. I don't know. Maybe Minnesota. They looked at him. Maybe Kevin O'Connell can fix him, but he needs some fixing. I do think somebody. I don't know about a trade. It's going to be hard because he'll want to be a starter. Maybe the Arizona Cardinals if you get rid of Kyler Murray, but it's a lot of risk to put on a new coach to think that Anthony Richardson's going to be your starter in 2026. Doesn't mean he can't down the road. But I would be, man, I wouldn't hitch to that wagon. I wouldn't if I'm here. Now, if I'm Minnesota, because I'm Kevin O'Connell, I got JJ McCarthy, I got a little time. You took away Sam Darnold from me. Maybe I can turn this kid into something. And that's what it seems to be across the board. Look, Liam Cohen fixed Trevor. CJ Stroud needs fixing. There's no doubt. He's got plenty of talent. Anthony Richardson needs fixing. He's got plenty of talent. Got a monster arm. But it takes a lot more than that. So you need someone that can come in, simplify, make it easier. Maybe it's pre-snap. Maybe it's the technique. Maybe it's the fundamentals, or maybe it's a combination. But it seems that seems to be a pretty popular trend right now. All right, so let me finalize with that. I'm not going to get into it too much. I interviewed Jack O'Callahan yesterday on the Horse's Mouth. Jack's from the 1980 men's hockey team. You guys all know him. Great guy. We talked mostly about the 80 team. Talked about growing up in Charleston, Massachusetts. Went to BU. Really good guy. He's in the financial world. He sells to pension funds, raises money for pension funds now, and has been doing that for a long time. He's like in his 60s. Great shape. Really good guy. You can tell he's very proud. Proud of the men, proud of the women, as I am. Look, and again, I'm not going to get into it. I know our president says some dumb things sometimes. I know he does. I don't know what he was trying to do there, trying to be cool. Oh, I'm going to get impeached if I don't invite whatever. The women aren't coming, and that's their prerogative, and I think that's more due to their schedule. I just, look, to hammer the men for going, like, this, you go to the White House because it's the White House. You don't go because of the president. I don't think. I've never been invited, but if I were, I'd go regardless of who the president is. I'd like to check it out, especially if I'm being honored as a championship team, regardless of that team. Whatever, you can roll however you want to roll. I just wish, look, sometimes politics need a spot in sports. I get that, but the majority of the time they don't. Sports brings people together. It doesn't divide. You go just look at any game. I don't care what sport. Go look at the stands. Go see who you're sitting next to. Very diversified crowd for the most part. You know what I mean? You're high-fiving, you're hugging, you're cheering. You're together. That I wasn't into the hockey team going into the Olympics, but after they kept going and winning, then they win the gold. Hell yeah, and the women too. Plus, I'm proud 2 BC guys on the men's team, 4 women, including the winning scorer, and Ellen. I think her name's Ellen. Sorry, but great. I mean, I was very proud of them too. I thought it was awesome. I think the women's team was expected to do really well. The men's team, I don't know where they felt they were going to end up, but they both won it. It's a fabulous thing. So look, at least from my perspective, I'd like the political side of things to lower, and let's just focus on what the great part of it all is. They went and won the gold medal, and it was a great thing. It's great for our country. The Olympics is always great for our country and any country that does well in it. I know we didn't win the medal count, but we did really well, and it was great. I don't look in the skateboarders or the snowboarder. I said skateboarder, snowboarder who badmouth the president of the. I don't care, whatever, man, whatever. My dad fought for that flag. You can say what you want. You're not changing my opinion. I love our flag. I love our country, and I love our military. And nobody's opinion's ever going to change that. I don't need that. I got it right in here and right in my gut, And if you don't feel that way, that's okay. That's what the flag is. That freedom. Now, I don't think you should desecrate, do all that kind of stuff, but you have every right to feel however you want. You don't have to like anything, and nor does anybody. But at the end of the day, the reason I brought it up, because I was talking to Jack O'Callahan, guess what? I never brought it up. I never brought it up. Why? Because it's not even necessary. Why even bring up that part of it? Let's just celebrate what the men and women did, and that's what we did, and that's why I brought it up here on Catching Up with Tommy Mack. I want to thank all of you for watching. I love doing it. Love talking about our Jags. Love talking about ball and anything else that comes our way. I love Team Tommy Mack. Please check them out at TommyMack.net. They're absolutely fantastic, from needing new flooring, from needing an attorney for the people, from needing getting out of jail, and a cool new bar in Murray Hill with Tradewinds Jacks, a technology school that's great for our kids, a boutique hotel and rentals along the beach to make your beach at the stay that much better. American Craft Distributors, new with Vita de Louis and Noble Coyote and Two Titmice Vodka, just great brands that are there for you. Newmark Phoenix Realty Group, number one in commercial real estate. I just did their video. Look at all their awards. That's why they're number one. They back it up. They're always there for you when you need them. And that's why I created Team Tommy Mack, and I appreciate all the support from them. And, of course, hey, forgot about Azar Sausage. Whether in your favorite dish or in a bun, Azar Sausage is the one. There's no doubt about that. Freedom Finance, my friend Courtney Myers. He'll take care of all your fractional CFO needs. Get your business right on the financial side. Make sure you check out Freedom Finance, freedomfinance.llc. Until next time, stay safe, be cool. We'll see you right here on Catching Up with Tommy Mack. Have a great weekend, everybody.